Okay, this is for day 15 for pages 212 all the way to 215. This one is going to be called dependent and independent variables. For this one, it's introducing a new topic, and it has to do a little bit with ratios, but it mostly has to do with these tables here and how these numbers are connected to this first number times 8. 1 times 8, 2 times 8 is this, 3 times 8 would be our answer here, 4 times 8 would be our answer here. But it says, use math you already know to solve this problem. What are the two quantities in the situation? So the two quantities would be this word right here and these two words right here. If you know the number of tickets, you can find the total cost. So if I know one ticket, I can know that it's $8. Which quantity depends on the other? So do the tickets depend on the total cost, or does the total cost depend on the tickets? And for this one, the number of tickets depends on the total cost. Because if it's one ticket, the cost is 8. If it's 5 tickets, the cost is 40. So the number of tickets affects the total cost. Now, that was for part B. Make sure you answer that part there. For part C, it says find the total cost of 3 tickets and 4 tickets. So to find 3 tickets, I would do 3 times 8. To find 4 tickets, I would do 4 times 8. Make sure you write those answers for part D. I'm sorry, C. Part D. Use words to explain the relationship between tickets and total cost. So I would say each ticket, how much does each ticket cost? Each ticket costs $8. Or you can say it costs $8 for every ticket. That can be your answer as well. Part E says, explain how you found the total cost for 3 tickets and 4 tickets. I multiplied 3 times 8, and over here you can say I multiplied 4 times 8. And that's how we explain part E. Let's go ahead and go to page 213. Now 213, what they're doing, okay, let's read what they're trying to tell us. They're trying to tell us in the problem on the previous page, the total cost of tickets, which was C, depends on how many tickets are purchased. T. An equation representing the relationship between T and C looks like this. So they're going to make an equation, and that means they're going to use letters, and it's going to look like this. And they put letters in there with the numbers, and I'm going to show you what each one means. The letter C, like I said, is the total cost of tickets. So this is going to be how much it costs me. And then this is going to be how many tickets I bought. So if I bought one ticket, it'll be $8. Well, how is that true? Well, if the ticket equals $1, we're going to put this in the equation right here. And instead of T being T, it's going to turn into a 1. 8 times 1 is 8. So the cost would be $8. Let's say they bought 3 tickets. Okay, so this is the cost. The cost is going to equal how much each ticket costs, $8. And instead of T, it's going to be a 3. Well, I'll put a T there so you can see it looks like this, right? So the T is getting replaced with a 3. Like we're trying to say, what if we bought 3 tickets and we're multiplying that by 8? So when we do 8 times 3, we get 24. So the cost would be $24. So for 3 tickets, the cost would be $24. Now, right here, they're asking you, what if you bought 20 tickets? What if you bought 20 tickets? So what if you bought 20 tickets? So the cost would be 8 times the T. And the T on this one, the tickets, it's 20 this time. That's going to be the cost. So how much is the cost for 20 tickets? We do our math. We get 160. So that means that the cost would be 160, just like we did here. 20 tickets cost $160. Now it says lunch costs $2.25 per day. An equation shows the relationship between the number of days, D, okay, and the cost of the lunch, which is C. So now in this problem, I guess let me save this real quick. This is day 15. So in this problem right here, this is the equation they're giving you. Let's switch colors. They're giving you this equation. C equals 2.25 D. And they're saying that 2.25 is how much lunch costs per day. So if I'm paying for 1 day, for one day, it would be 2.25 times 1 times D. And that would be my cost for 1 day. So my cost for 1 day would be $2.25. Now it's asking me, what is a dependent variable? Explain how you know this. So for this one, they're telling us which variable, which letter depends on like the number we put. So for example, let's say how much did it cost for 5 days? So my cost would be 2.25 times those 5 days. How much does it cost for 5 days? For 50, $8, $9, 9, 10, 11, 11, 25. So the cost for 5 days would be $11.25. So see how the number that changes is the D? That's my variable. A letter is the variable. And that's a variable that depends on the number that we put. So for example, D can be 1, D can be 5, D can be 7. So that'll be your answer for that one. Oh, no, wait, sorry. So the number of tickets purchased, T, so T is an independent variable. The cost is a dependent variable. The total cost depends on the number of tickets purchased. Sorry about this. So C is our dependent variable. Our cost depends on the number of tickets. So for answer number 1, we would say, what is the dependent variable? The dependent variable, sorry, I always get this mixed up. Dependent variable is the cost. It depends on ticket. It depends on the number of tickets. Now is this our last page? 214, let me see. So 214, let me see here. 214 is explaining this problem here, and then they explain it with an equation with letters and numbers. And right here, the letters, remember, they're called our variables. They make a dependent variable, which is money raised. The money raised depends on the cost of each candle times how many candles. So if they buy 3 candles, it's going to be 3 times 20. 3 candles, 3 times 20, and it costs $60 that they raised. Now let's look at the question. Lincoln School is selling candles to raise money for a new track. Each candle is $20. The table shows a relationship between the number of candles sold, C, and the money raised, M. Use the table to write an equation and draw a graph to represent the problem. Now this part right here, this is something you have to practice over time. So we'll have more problems to practice like this. But for this one, you have to draw a graph to represent it. These numbers right here are going to be your coordinates. So for example, the first one's going to be 0, 0. That's where you start. The next one's going to be 120. The next one's going to be 240, and so on and so on. And if you look right here at our graph, I'll zoom in so you can see it better. And let's see if I can put it next to the numbers up here. So the 0, 0 would start off here. The 120 would go 1, then 20. The 240 would go 2, then 40. Then I believe 3 was 60, and 4 was 80. So 3, which would be right here, was 60, and 4 was 80. And you would have to keep going to draw your graph like that. Now, we're going to use that problem and this equation to help us find the answers for this page over here. So let me save this real quick. Day 15, part 2. Don't save. There you go. Now it says, now you explain how the table, the equation, and the graph are related. So how are they connected? How are they related? So part number 2, which value is the dependent value? And you know what? Let's actually put this on this side. This part or this page, I'm supposed to do with you as a teacher anyway. So it's okay if we do this together. Now let's look at this first question, connect the number 2. Here we go. Now it says, which value is the dependent variable? Which is the independent variable? So this is your equation. M equals 20 times C. So which number is dependent on the number of candles sold? So number of candles sold is C. So this number always changes. If the number always changes, so C can be 1 candle, 3 candles, 5 candles. If it's always changing like that, this can be our dependent variable. M is how much money is raised. That's our dependent variable. If they sell 3 candles, we all know 20 times 3 is 60. That $60 would be the amount raised. M is the amount raised. So this number is dependent on this candle times this number every time. So M, it says which value is a dependent variable. Which value? Value also means variable. Variable. And remember, variable means like letters. So right here, our letters are C and M. Which one would be our dependent variable? It depends on the other numbers. M is the dependent variable. And C is the independent variable. I don't have enough space to explain, but M depends on these two values. C is independent because C can change any time from 1 candle to 3 candles to 5 candles to however many candles they sell. Now let's look at part 3. Look at the graph. How does the point 240 relate to the equation on the table? So 240, how is that related to this part? It just means that 2 candles were sold to raise $40. In this table, they don't tell us, this numbers mean candles and these numbers mean dollars, but the 40 means $40 and the 2 means 2 candles. It means that 2 candles were sold to raise $40. Now let's look at part number 4. Now raise it up a little bit. Use the equation to explain how much money Lincoln raised if he sold 9 candles. So this is our equation, 20 times C. So this guy sold 9 candles. That C is going to turn into a 9. So it's not going to be a C anymore. It's going to be not the 9 candles they sold. That means that the money raised would be 180. Now, what coordinates on the graph would show how much money Lincoln raised if he sold 9 candles? So if he sold 9 candles, we would have to make this graph 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me zoom in over here. We would have to make it go 6, 7, 8, 9, and then this 9 candles would sell like 180. It would sell 180, and that's how much it would raise. So it says what coordinates on the graph would show. So the coordinates that would show would be 9 for the candles, comma, because 9 is the x, and the x line always goes first. We would count to 9, and then they would go all the way up to 180. And the 180 would be on my y-axis, the one that goes up and down. Now, it says part 6, you need to try this, okay? What do you want us to try? Let's see what you got. Explain how the coordinates of a point on the graph relate to the dependent and independent variables of an equation. So it's just asking you, how does these two letters, or how do the coordinates on the graph relate to the dependent? So it's asking us these numbers right here. the 2 and the 40. How do they relate um, to this equation? So if I use 2 to 40, 2 candles to $40, how would that affect me here? Would I multiply times 40, or would I multiply times 2 when I'm multiplying this 20? The candles is a 2, and the M is how much money is made, which is $40. The M never gets solved, it never gets replaced, but the C gets replaced by a 2. And that gives me my 40. M equals 40. So I would say that my M is my 40, which is how much money raised. Sorry if it's bunched up. And then my C is my candles, which is 2 here. This one, I don't need you to explain in the long sentences. As long as you know that this is the answer and this is the number you multiply with. So one of them will be the number you multiply with. One of them will be the number you multiply with. And the other is the answer. Oh, I'm running out of space. And the other is the answer. That's it for day 15, people. I will be doing the I already won in a bit, but yeah, that's it. Thank you.